Welcome back. Now at about 3 p.m. yesterday, that was the last message I did receive on my phone via WhatsApp. Then curiosity took me to my Instagram where I love to upload my videos and my pictures, and I realized that it wasn't reloading or refreshing some of the videos. I couldn't tell what the problem was. Initially, I thought it was the telco. So I started fishing around, and yes, I was blaming it on the network. Restarted my phone a couple of times, and then I realized from other platforms like Twitter and TikTok that, oh, guess what? Some of the big giant platforms, Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, were down. What happened? Now this morning on Bits and Bytes, Kobe Spiky takes me deeper to understand some of the things that could have happened that led to this global shutdown of these big platforms where a lot of people socialize, network, and make business happen. Good morning, Kobe.
Good morning, Jay.
Well, what time did you realize it?
Well, as soon as it happened, I sent about 4 messages and I had that clock, like it's loading. And usually what happens is I'll just restart WhatsApp. When WhatsApp didn't go through, I just switched to Telegram and started texting people on Telegram. And then that wasn't working. So my colleague Dennis, he sent me a link saying that for Facebook. I'm like, I figured. Because the thing is, I had, when you go to a website, it's cached on the, the page. Yeah. So you have it on your computer and it seems like it's still working because all that data has been loaded onto your computer so you can still see it. And because I was using it like that, I didn't notice that it had gone down. It. So when that happened, then I tried to ping the networks, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. Instagram was going through, the pings were going through, but Facebook, WhatsApp, weren't going through. Yeah. Now, when I say pings, basically it's like going to knock on the door to find out, hey, are you home? If you get a response, it means someone's home. Yeah. If you don't get a response, it means they're not home. And Instagram was saying, hey, I'm home, but I have a little bit of a problem. Yes. So a bit of a deep dive into the whole situation, and then you realize that people were acknowledging that it was as a result of the DNS falling down. Quotes and quotes. Okay, please break it down, DNS. Great. So when you go to a website, Facebook, Instagram, any website, and you enter the URL that say jfoley.com, jfoley.com is what you understand, what you can read, but the computers actually deal with what we call an IP address. Yeah. So the IP address is a series of numbers separated by dots, and that is the actual location. You can use that, you can liken that to a postal address, right? So you've gone to the post office to send a package, which is essentially what your access to that website. And they determine the fastest route to get there. They determine, so people are thinking that a domain name service, which is basically the postal system, was what was not working. But it goes beyond that. There's something called the BGP, the Border Gateway Protocol. So if we were more than 4 people here, I'd have done a demonstration. So if you and I lock hands, I'm an away. Don't worry, just connect my hand like this. You see how our hands connected? Yes. So if I'm a network, right? Autonomous system, as we like to call it, but the internet is basically a group of networks, right? And I'm a group of networks. That punch that I gave you is a signal telling you that, hey, I'm here. This is Spiky's network. This is Jay Foley's network. Then we have MF's network, and then probably Ben's network. Right? Now, you can't talk directly to Ben because when you do this, you have an arm connecting to mine and I have an arm connecting to Ben. He connects to MFR. So you can talk directly to MFR. But I can't talk directly. So that fist bump I gave you, you're telling me that you have a direct connection to MFR. And I'm telling you that I have a direct connection to Ben. Yeah. So this is all our network. That's the Border Gateway Protocol. Now, in the absence of, let's just say, your arm is amputated, I can't connect to you. You can't connect with me anymore, yeah. I will exist, you will exist, but I can't connect to you. And that's pretty much what happened. The connection between me and you was gone. So I can connect to everyone else, but I can't find you on the network. And that tells me that, oh, Jay doesn't exist. Even though I've been talking to Jay all my life, but the fact that we don't have that fist bump. I know you can't probably take me into the real details, but how do you resolve a problem like this? So it's actually I really oversimplified that situation. It's something that, and I told my friends, I need so many analogies to make this very simple. Facebook is like a 400-story building. It's a lot of networks, there's a lot of softwares, there's a lot of programs, applications, web servers, a lot of things. Yeah. Now, you have Instagram owned by Facebook, you have WhatsApp owned by Facebook, you have Oculus, you have Workplace, you have so many things, and they're all running on that same 400-story building. Assuming that floor number 396 has a problem and we have to work on it, we can't pull out floor number 396, work on it and put it back.
Yeah.
We have to get to 396 and then start working there. Now, let's just say in the process of working on floor number 396, we cut the power. From 397 to 400, nobody can go there via elevator. And let's just say there's a fire at the stairwell. Nobody can go past there and nobody can go down. Essentially what has happened is that we've cut off connection to everyone. The whole building is locked down until we, fix that situation.
That's what possibly happened.
Exactly. So they were trying, these sites are big. There's usually a routine maintenance or an update that they're trying to do, and you have to very, very meticulously place that in there.
Yeah.
And make sure that, okay, yes, it worked. It's like cutting the cord of a bomb.
Yeah.
You know how very careful they have to be
your time and
which wire you're cutting.
The green or the red one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even though they've worked on this for a very long time, Facebook has really grown. It's become big. There's millions of lines of code, and you have to be careful what you do. So if you mistakenly just push something somewhere, or you don't know. Do you know how dangerous a full stop can be?
Can be to alter the code, and its language.
And
its
imagine
meaning.
finding that full stop in that code.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking for a needle in a haystack. So Facebook did not give us exactly what happened, but according to researchers, according to experts in the field, they attributed it to a border gateway protocol. I mean, to the extent that it even affected Facebook's own internal systems. So imagine if we're coming to work, we need to
access maybe a thumbprint.
Exactly, and all that is tied to our IDs, tied to the network, tied to the Facebook workplace system. And once that is also knocked down, they can't verify who you are. So how do I let you in? So there's that whole issue.
Roughly, do you have an idea, just because you researched on this, possibly how many people were affected by it?
It was a global outage. It wasn't something that was, just 1 in a million or 1 in hundreds of thousands. It was a global outage.
In your opinion, now having all these platforms sit under one person, whichever mother company runs, Mark Zuckerberg runs. Now, would you advise that is the way to go? Because now it looks like when one was affected, a chain of reactions on the others.
This happened in 2019 to Google, and Google is one of the biggest internet businesses in the world. I mean, when I say the biggest, Google is probably
it's the biggest.
Yeah. And when Google had a similar issue, it knocked down lots of websites who were using Google services. So, picture that. Yeah. It's not to say. I like to say that. Okay, fine. It's not too good to have it all sitting under one umbrella, but it's a bad thing to also separate them because of how interlocked they are. They work very seamlessly. If Jay, you had to do this show away from here, there would be a lot of hiccups and it would take time to streamline it, right? And every single time, imagine having to communicate with someone, they're not reaching them. But if they're all working, just use the iPhone as a typical example. The hardware and the software are working hand in hand because Apple develops the hardware, Apple develops the software. So they know white means white.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying? 1 means 1, 0 means 1. But if in a language, let's say I speak a different language, and white says white is blanc in French. Blanc in English, it's not white, it's empty. So there may be that disparity in it would really affect people.
How much did this probably hit us, and what could be the losses that were probably expected within that period?
Well, Zuckerberg lost $7 billion.
Wow.
That's just to say, and that was the last update I heard. It could be more, and people panicked because people don't know what's happening. Is it going to come back up? Are people going to migrate to a new service? Which we saw a huge sign up. Telegram was trending, Twitter was trending. A lot of people were switching to Twitter to have to find out what is happening. People kept opening WhatsApp and closing to see who's going to come back.
Wow. I can imagine if you're probably sending a location, like what Benjamin said earlier on, you were sending a location to someone, or someone was sending you a code to go collect some money, or some very important information was being sent to you, and the shutdown came. wow, I can imagine how frustrated you were.
Do you know what I saw, Jay?
Tell me.
So someone sent a message to his side chick saying, "My wife is home, don't come," and it was loading. Yeah, I want to see that house.
Trapped in the closet. That's what maybe you want to take us into. Trapped in the closet. Wow. Okay. So now there was a switch from all these platforms to other platforms like Telegram. I don't know if you did any checklist on what happened with Telegram as an option.
I saw groups moving, like whole groups moving to Telegram.
Yes, a group I'm in moved to Telegram
because conversations were not happening, and it just made me realize how very dependent we've become, and how so tied to these things we are. Because I wanted to send a video to my group, my auto group, because I saw an Aston Martin DB11, and I'm like, an Aston Martin, and I took a video, and WhatsApp's not working. What do I do? But then I noticed that almost every group I was in was migrating to Telegram. And I was excited because you know me, I'm a Telegram evangelist.
Yeah.
I want people on Telegram.
On Telegram instead. Hey, how did you feel within those about, let's say, 8 to 12 hours when the shutdown was, was happening? I'd love to hear from you on WhatsApp. Our number is displayed on the screen. Talk to us all through. We want to know how you felt. It was frustrating just because I couldn't reach friends. That's it. Maybe I could have called them. But that's what goes to say, like, how much we communicate and depend, on these platforms.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's not like you are posting videos every minute, but you are checking people's videos every minute. You want to see what's happening in the world, and now you are prevented from doing that. Interestingly now, so it is said that on Forbes, I don't know if that is true, that Elon Musk just shot up to number 1.
Yes, he has overtaken Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
That rivalry is very strong.
Yeah, between the two of them, like, who wants to take number 1
There's
spot?
a space race, there's a billionaire race.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Jay, we should try and be on that list, man. Let's go and overtake them.
It's crazy. Look, if you ask me. So, in the what would you advise people do if such a thing happens again? I mean, there'll be panics, like you were saying.
Yeah, I was more concerned about businesses because at the time I was actually checking a company that I consult for, system, and they receive customer service complaints via Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp Business, and these were down. And the fear was that people were going to think that they were not responding to their messages if they didn't know, even if they were none the wiser that clock meant that your message is not going through, then it meant that it's from the system, but they were probably thinking that they couldn't reach these clients, you see. So a lot of clients and people who also invested in Facebook ads, for instance, you're having your own personal business, you advertise on Facebook, you advertise on Instagram with the hopes of getting clients. And I know people who do this and it really translates into conversions for them. And maybe you got some stock, or maybe you have a deadline to get rid of something, and Facebook's outage is affecting this. Maybe you have an event and you have to put word out. And this affects all that communication.
So do you feel the world has now become almost heavily dependent on, well, I can say these 3 platforms, because we felt the punch.
Yes.
I mean, if TikTok went down, fine.
Gen Z would cry, but,
but
the rest of us would be
cry. If Snapchat went down, fine.
I wouldn't be bothered.
I wouldn't be bothered, exactly. But when these 3 went down, it become a global conversation.
I mean, there's billions of people on these platforms. Facebook has like the largest, 3 billion.
Wow.
On Facebook alone. You're looking at WhatsApp, also has billions. You're looking at Instagram. And the most interesting thing about this is the fact that if at least one was down and the other was working, that'd be fine. But all three went down. And for those who did not have alternatives, let's say you can't sign, you were never on Telegram. Now you have to sign up. I actually had to go sign someone up to Telegram. Can you imagine that? Because all conversations had stopped. And if the person doesn't have an alternative, how do they communicate?
Let's talk about alternatives now. So what are the alternatives now that, because look, until lockdown came, until COVID came about, people were never thinking of working from home. The alternative came about. And some companies have become very comfortable working from home. Once the results are achieved, that's fine.
Yep.
What are the alternatives that we can start talking about? I mean, definitely WhatsApp, Telegram. I'm not even going to say anything about 100%. it. Is there any other software, any other platform?
Well, a lot of people migrated to Twitter.
I'm talking about the ones that have like similar characteristics and features.
So like a Facebook.
Yeah, so if I'm not on Facebook,
the only thing that is remotely closest. Dude, why are you putting your age out there?
did you come meet High Five? Are they in existence? I should check High Five.
Yeah, High Five. That still actually exists.
Who's there? What are you doing there?
I don't know.
The world is not on High Five. So, I mean, what is the alternative to Facebook? And that's
LinkedIn. Yeah, go be a business person on LinkedIn. Go be very important. Go be responsible on LinkedIn.
You don't get gossip on LinkedIn. you don't get. Well, you can get a few scams happening on LinkedIn, but so that tells you that like there's no competitor in that space of Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Well, does it need a competitor?
Wow.
You know, the thing about social media is it's either this or nothing at all, because you need the crowd. The reason why Telegram and all the other messenger services are not as successful in this part of the world, or in any, basically if you look, there's a map that shows each messaging app and where it's used, it's primarily used. And then if you go to the US, iMessage. WhatsApp is not like a thing in the US. If you go to the Scandinavian countries, it's Viber, surprisingly. If you come to India and Sub-Saharan Africa, it's WhatsApp. I mean, I could even add the Sahara area. And WhatsApp is actually growing faster. South America, WhatsApp. That's why even they're piloting some of their features on WhatsApp in Brazil, for instance. So it's where the crowd is. I mean, you're not going to start a market.
Okay. So, yes, so that means that clearly Facebook has no competitor.
Yeah, which is why people want it broken up, because it's become a behemoth.
WhatsApp, we can do Telegram. But even in that, people still, Anyway, I've got some messages here. Let me quickly read this one. It says, it's so disheartening on everything that happened yesterday. Initially, I thought it was MTN. So I ran to Telegram and Snapchat yesterday. You're not a loyal person. More messages coming in. This one here, this one here says, we can add your name to it. It says, IMO. It's exactly like WhatsApp. Oh, Imo, right?
Yeah, Imo, yeah.
Oh, it's like WhatsApp. So when I noticed I migrated to Imo, it's really cool. Other alternatives, well, pull us along, please. This one now just coming in, he says, hi, I'm Philippa. I was frustrated because I was dealing with a business partner. I can imagine what you were going through at that minute. Says, honestly, Jay, he says, speaking, I know I can't put this word out there, but he says, he says his stuff were out. Well, he says his balls were out. He says, I could not figure out what was wrong. I needed to attend to something urgent online. That's Jay Zion from Tantra. He says, please link me up with Copy Spiky. All right, we'll do that. You can find him on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's Copy Spiky. Go
at there, the real Spiky.
The real Spiky. Yeah. The real Spiky. Find him there and DM him. He's open to conversations on there. You can imagine the frustrations people went through. So clearly now, I don't know if people are going to start considering these platforms as options, because we can't settle for any of such shutdown.
If you live in Kokomlemle, do you have an alternative to Malata Market? Well, if you live around Accra, do you have an alternative to Accra? The major Makola market. That's the market. Yeah. If you're going to put your shop or your stall, say opposite Mervyn Pick. Everybody's going to drive past you and go to Makola. Yeah. Because that's where everything is. That's where there are choices. That's where there are options. That's where you can drive a bargain. Yeah. So if you put your stall there thinking that, oh, I'm setting myself apart, nobody's coming there. You have to do some huge marketing. You have to invest a lot. You have to incentivize people to move. Mind you, I use Telegram as an example. Telegram has the best features of any messaging app, but people still use a dinosaur app like WhatsApp.
Well, just remind me, which one is Ayoba?
Ayoba is MTN's own messenger.
Oh, the platform. Yeah. Okay, all right. So people are saying that's also another alternative. Well, interesting. Well, the question is that would you want to be there? Because the world is not there. You probably
you get
alone.
there. It's like back in the Wild Wild West movies,
yes.
when you pull up into those areas and you see the dust, and you're looking around, it's just
like
wooden
no
structures empty, and there's no.
It's just
a ghost town.
This one says I was frustrated, so I restarted my phone. Please, I'm with you on that one.
Even I did. I didn't restart my phone. I restarted WhatsApp.
I did that. I did that quite a number. I think about twice. Checking to see if something will pop up. I went off. I was on my Wi-Fi. I went off the Wi-Fi to see if it was my data. I said, okay, the data was. I said, you know what? I think it's the network.
Yeah.
They're doing that thing again.
You know the painful thing? Sites where you need to use Facebook to log in. Like the sites that you sign up using, you can sign up using your email or you can sign up using your Facebook account. So I had such a service and I was trying to log in and my Facebook wasn't logging in to that either because it's locked out.
Wow.
And yeah, it's difficult to expect that these guys can't fix this.
My last question is there a possibility of a terrorist attack
on
what happened?
So a lot of people were expecting or suspecting that
when COVID came, we said it was
a terrorist.
Yeah, it was
hoax. It
was a biological weapon of mass destruction. Did your mind go to anything on cyber attacks?
Well, yes, initially, because prior to this, there was a Facebook whistleblower who came out with a lot of information, and some of these hackers can be very self-righteous to thinking that, hey, I'm going to take down Facebook for all the bad they've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started thinking, could this be a result of that whole issue? You know how Anonymous can just get up and it just starts firing cyber weapons, quote unquote. But here's the thing, a global internet wipeout is near impossible because all these big platforms have redundancies for days. Like this was just a one-off event, something that could happen again, but to think that hackers could take down a system as big as Facebook would require a lot of effort. And when I say a lot of effort, a huge team and lots of resources. Mind you, these guys have got everything, load balancers, servers, redundancies, like automated systems. There's so many things that these companies put into place that it would be very difficult for hackers to take. You can take down one side. But
I thought for a split second, they will have backups of backups.
Which is why
backups. That should not allow such a thing to happen.
So you see, which is why I gave you. Do you have a backup of your right hand? Do you? No, that's the thing. There's some things you can't have a backup of. Because
the first thing that came to mind was instantly I said that, look, this should not happen to these platforms because people's lives are hanging on these things.
Do you remember some time ago a submarine cable was cut and we didn't have internet? Internet was, but you realize we did get it. It was a bit slower. Yeah, so that's the backup. It will be there, but it will not be as powerful as the main thing. So your backup may be a little finger
hanging in there. Hi, Joy Prime. Went for WhatsApp and Facebook got down yesterday. I got frustrated. Thought my data was finished, but no. Restarted my phone a couple of times, and asking everyone to see if they have the same network problem. This one from quite far says, "Morning, bro. I don't think it's a global problem because I did not get any problem yesterday. I'm Chief from Ofanko Barrier. Okay, Chief, you were one lucky soul. Maybe your number, or maybe your something.
Maybe he didn't even notice it.
Yes, or maybe he didn't realize it, but quite a number of people had that problem. This one, same person says, yesterday I literally called everyone. Very soon, I think we'll start writing letters. That's a good one.
What if the postal service goes down?
Okay, my last but two messages here says, I resetted my phone several times. It got to a point I had to call a friend to find out whether it was the same. Yes, that happened. Kobe says, where I restarted my phone. Kobe said he restarted his WhatsApp. I leave it at that. Sorry, I couldn't read all the messages coming in here, but great conversations we had this morning. So, please, we should start thinking of
sending postal.
Yes, and having other platforms we engage. Multiple platforms. All those dead ones like Viber and.
They're not dead.
I would say dead, but we don't use them.
MySpace. Think about MySpace.
MySpace.
Yeah, everyone looking for old. Yeah, it's there-ish. Yeah.
High five.
High Five is a dating site now.
It's a dating site, right?
I think so, yeah. It's a dating platform.
Look at that, man.
Yeah.
All right, anyways, well, for those of you who lived in the era of High Five, when it was in its hot days, it's now a dating site, like they say.
You know, there was one called Make 33. That's where I met Amaya Debra.
Oh, my days.
Yeah, it's so old. Make 33. Amaya knows what I'm talking about.
Well, anyway, Kobe, month of October is breast cancer awareness. Are you doing anything to create that awareness too?
Oh, well, I'll get a pink ribbon and pin it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to say something else, but no.
Yeah, we'll just hold on. MFL will give us more updates with that. Coming up next, let's delve into breast cancer awareness as we hit the month of October.